Schrade Quick Tips. Sharpen your skills.
In this Schrade Quick Tip video, we're going to show you how to use your survival knife to make a primitive fishing hook, or gorge. Stick around until the end of the video to learn how to make and bait a gorge, and how to attach it to primitive cordage. We'll also share a few tips from our experts along the way.
Calories play a big role in wilderness living, whether it's camping or full-blown survival. Fishing is a great way to put food on the table and, in a survival situation, does so without wasting precious energy, if you've got fishing gear. But even if you don't, there are other ways of catching fish, such as the primitive gorge. When referring to everyday carry, we often think of knives, flashlights, ferro rods, cordage, and the like. Many survivalists and bushcrafters also include fishing hooks in their EDC gear. And for good reason. Producing a primitive fishing hook in the wild is not only an advanced skill, it is also time-consuming and not likely to produce anywhere near the yield of a modern hook and line. To fashion a fishing gorge, you'll need a knife, preferably a full-tang fixed blade, capable of detailed carving tasks, like our SCHF 36, SCHF 37, or SCHF 38. You will also need a hard material that is still soft enough to be carved with a knife. We used a hard wood for this video, but if available, we recommend a thin piece of bone, as bone can often be found without too much difficulty in the wilderness and sharpened into fine points with relative ease. A gorge resembles the shape of a very slender eye, with each end sharpened to a point. The center of the gorge features a small V-notch on the top and bottom, which helps to keep the gorge securely attached to cordage during fishing. A gorge works by getting caught in the throat of a fish as they gulp the bait. Therefore, the size of a gorge depends solely on the size of fish and the water source you intend to fish. In a survival scenario, a small gorge is perfect for catching panfish. Start by selecting a thin piece of bone or wood that is solid on the inside, and with your knife, baton off a piece about 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch in length and roughly 1/4 inch in height. Sharpen the gorge so that each end gradually tapers from 1/4 inch in the center to a razor-sharp point at the tips. Don't carve your gorge so thin that it becomes structurally weak, but keep in mind that you will need to be able to slide bait over the center. Once your gorge is good and sharp, add your notches to the center on top and bottom. Be extremely cautious when carving a gorge. Work slowly and concentrate on blade control. Holding the gorge with the pliers of a multi-tool will drastically reduce the risk of injury. Now you're ready to attach your gorge to some sort of line. There are a couple of different options. If you've got fishing line, simply tie a good knot around the notches of the gorge. As an alternative, the 7 inner strands of paracord make great makeshift fishing line. Each strand on a paracord bracelet should yield around 10 feet of cordage, plenty of line to get the job done in a pinch. If no man-made cordage is available, don't worry. There are plenty of natural materials for making cordage. For tips on sourcing and processing natural cordage, see our video on making natural cordage in this series. To attach a gorge to natural reverse-wrapped cordage, slip the gorge through the eye of the cordage and tighten around the notches of the gorge. Then turn the gorge vertically on the cordage and find the twist, where the point of the gorge aligns, and slightly untwist so that the gorge can be fed through a second time. Twist the cordage back tight around the gorge, and you're ready to bait your new fishing tackle. Making natural cordage takes time. Instead of making long lengths of cordage, a 3-foot section can be attached to the end of a thin sapling or branch to act as a makeshift fishing pole. This also lets you control the depth at which you are fishing without the use of a bobber. To bait your gorge, turn the gorge vertical on the line and slide your bait over the gorge so that the bait itself is holding the gorge in the vertical position. As the fish takes the bait, the gorge will release, and become horizontally lodged in the throat. There you have it, a way to put food on the table without wasting precious calories.
While fishing with a gorge can be effective, it is important to understand that primitive survival techniques often have much lower success rates than their modern counterparts. Even though with a little practice and patience, this technique will harvest fish, it's a much easier option to simply add a small fishing kit to your everyday carry. For more quick tips on survival and bushcraft skills, check out our other videos in this series. While you're at it, visit www.schrade.com to see our full assortment of quality knives and accessories. But for now, be sure to click the subscribe button above to subscribe to our Schrade Knives YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Ways you can connect with Schrade are in the description below, along with other great tips and relevant info. To discover more about the gear used in this video, check out the links in the video description on YouTube. Visit Schrade.com or take a trip to your local outdoor gear retailer.